Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Racing Today. Today, as you can see, we have Ask Charles of Ask Charles fame over on the horseracingtoday.net website. Charles has been in the business for a long time. He's telling me he lives in Kentucky now and he's about to get in the bloodstock business. Tell us, Charles, a little bit about your background and, all your 37 years of history in horse racing.
Well, I probably started like everyone else. Around 13, started gambling, betting the horses.
So you
Uh,
started at 13. Who was the degenerate family member that introduced you to it? Was
I
it an
think
uncle or a dad?
it was an uncle and a grandmother.
Oh.
Yeah, grandma used to take me a little bit to the track on the weekends, Santa
Mm.
Anita. And then, of course, my uncle started taking me. And then, when I got my driver's license, look out. I was
Mm.
always going. And of course, you're supposed to be 18 at the time to bet. But somehow I always got by with it. I was a little bit of a bad boy in high school, too. Ditched a couple of classes to get to the racetrack.
Just a
Uh,
couple? I
just a
think I missed
couple.
like half my senior year, so you were well behaved.
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit more than a couple. But there's a lot of stories there I could tell you, go on and on. But after I got out of high school, I bought my first racehorse at 18 with one of my teachers at the school.
Hmm.
And the rest is pretty much from there. I mean, I got involved. The horse won its first time out and kept on winning, and I claimed horses for many years with Bill Spar there at Santa Anita and hung out with some of the great trainers out there, Mel Studi, Charlie Winningham, you name it. Um, and then I went out and got myself married. And then I got about 5 years into it. And then a friend of mine says, "Hey, I need you to train a horse." So I went out and got my trainer's license and trained for 10 years in California. And then the big 2008, crash of
Fiasco.
everybody's finances happened. So I gave that up and went into bloodstock, and I've been in it ever since 2008.
Hmm.
But I moved out here in Kentucky about 5 years ago.
All right. So now we're gonna go get into making picks on YouTube. Where your life, you're at the pinnacle of life at this moment,
All
Charles.
right,
I
on.
I doubt that. But anyway, first race at the Saratoga track in its last week is this 2 3/8 miles turf race. It's the one of those jumpers. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I like to watch them. I think that's what you said. They're fun to watch, but it's straight up gambling, like showing up with your uncle or your grandma back when you were 13. So for me, I like the 2, the 1, the 3, and the 7. You have horses in a little different order. Do you like them for any specific reason, or you just want to go to race number 2?
Uh, Not particular reason. I mean, the only thing I think the three is a standout to me personally, but because of the pace and he's consistently runs to the front end pretty well. So
All right, so we're going to move on to race number 2. This is race 2 is hold on one second. I got to remember without Terry here, I have to give myself cues because I have to know when we're going to go post the races. All right, so race number 2, this one, Charles, as we like to do around here, 7 furlongs, maiden claiming, $40,000. A 7 furlong race so far. They've run 40 of them at Saratoga, 31 of which were won by speed, 13 of which went wire to wire. You do get a little bit of a penalty if you wear a 1, a 2, or a 3, a little bit of a bonus if you wear a 4, 5, 6, or 7, and 8 and out have been fair. I should note that the sunny and warm today in Saratoga Springs. And see, you're getting some fan mail already there.
already.
And it's and the both the surfaces are listed as good, the dirt and the turf. So in race number 2, I did my, as I like to do as well, the pace setup. And here what we can see in race number 2, the one horse did get scratched. We got that down arrow, meaning this is a horse that likely is dropping in class in these maiden claiming ranks. The 2 horse here catches a plus late pace number, meaning it's got a lot of late kick relative to everybody else. A couple first-time starters over here in the 6 and the 9, and the 8 horse and the 3 horse are likely to be the ones that pressure for the lead. 8 horse may be getting a little bit of an advantage in there, Charles, because he's dropping in class. How well, go ahead and make your picks for race number 2. How do you see this one lining up at the finish line?
Well, my first pick was the three, Laughter. I think most likely the speed of the race last time out was pretty good on the dirt for the first time on dirt, I should say. So it looks pretty solid there in this race. My second pick is the seven. Frosty is a Frosty Invasion. Well, it looks like he's improving a lot now, finally, and I believe that the blinkers is going to help this horse a lot in this race.
All right.
When I'm out with training, you kind of test it usually at the end. You don't do it in the beginning. You try to do that later. Um, then the sixth horse, I'm nervous now. First timer, looks good. She's looks like she's ready for this. It's semi-weak field itself overall, but she looks like she's working up to this pretty good. And then my final pick on the race is the eight, Summer Snow, drops in class. I always love that move, basically, but there's a lot of races that have a lot of droppers today,
Mm-hmm.
and the distance looks like it's going to help her on this race.
All right. Sounds good. For me, I like the three, Laughter. Top last race speed figure, upgrades to jockey Luis Saez, which I think is a good move. 4 consecutive speed figure increases. So in each race, well, you can't increase your debut, but since the debut, there's been 3 straight increases in that speed number, looking to make it 5 in a row, I guess. Number 6, I'm nervous now. First time starter, decent works, I think, for this level. Trainer Joseph Safi Jr. does win at 21% on the debut in this level. Number 2, Maddie's Surprise, one horse I guess we disagree on. This one has, as I mentioned, in the Saratoga pace worksheet there, a plus late pace advantage, meaning the horse can make up as much as 2 lengths in the stretch. But that was only on one race. Did get a bad start in that initial race. Better start in the beginning, and hopefully makes that move forward in the second start off a layoff, second start in the career. Finally, number 8, Summer Snow, was, as we both mentioned, a maiden special weight dropper. I think this one's going to be close to the front and did show much better fractions in its last start. So we step forward to race number 3. Come on, Mouse. I just love when technology doesn't want to cooperate. Kind of like when you bring your friends over and you taught your dog a new trick, and then you tell the dog to do the new trick, and it looks at you like, what?
Yeah, I know. You've been working on it forever.
So race 3, 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Another maiden race. This is a maiden special weight, $80,000. A bunch of first-time starters in here. So I didn't put together the pace worksheet. Too many horses that haven't tipped their hand yet. So Charles, in this race that's loaded with some experienced horses and some new ones, which way are you going to lean? I tend to put them in 2 buckets and pick from one bucket or the other ordinarily.
Yeah, this is like you said, it's kind of interesting, and how this race is supposed to be set up to begin with is for horses sold for 50K or less, or an RNA at the sales. So that kind of eliminates, a lot of horses, and it keeps a smaller type of group here. But I like the 5, Rock Chalk. This horse looks like the horse to beat in the whole race. Had a race. I love the trainer. I kind of like everything about this horse.
Does the trainer know
looks
that
like
you,
it has.
does the trainer know that you have those feelings for him?
Well, maybe not. I'll have to call and let him know. Then my second pick is Wicked's Secret, the 1 horse. First time starter. Looks like it's got solid works. The trainer usually gets them ready for these type of races. First timers out most of the time. Looks pretty solid. The 7 here is my third pick. 3-0. Handled the turf last time out. In my opinion, I think it's a big jock switch, so that's a plus for the horse. And then my 4th pick in this race is Web Slingler, the 2 horse, switches to the turf. I like the jockey on him, and the trainer is always pretty good with the turf horse's stats, with numbers on that. So overall, I mean, I think it's a pretty solid race. You might find value in here.
5.5 furlongs. I forgot to mention they've run 57 of them so far, 29 of which were won. surprisingly, for 5.5 furlongs, you'd think you would want a horse forwardly placed, but more have won from off the pace. 10 of the 57 did go wire to wire. We do find an inside 3 bias 4 through 7 play fair. If you get a number 8 or out, you might as well not race because the big penalty. I'm going to go with the Kansas horse 2, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Ran second in his debut, which is our Chris Parmalu angle. He loves these maiden horses that run second in the last race. He follows up and puts them on the top of his ticket next time out. So we're going to put the Chris P angle to the test today. Trainer George Weaver wins 19% of the time in second career starts. 3-0, as you mentioned, Charles does get a tremendous jockey upgrade to Flavian Pratt. Early on in the Saratoga meet, I had mentioned I thought he was trying to figure out the track. And I thought in the back half of the card, he would come on, and that's exactly what's happened. The early pace numbers here say he could be on the lead by as much as a length at the half-mile marker. Number 3, Close the Game Sugar. I do like the workouts for this horse. The Bullet workout, three workouts back, does have some pretty solid pedigree for the distance and the surface. And then Ironman Jimmy was a tough call for me over to 2. I might probably flip it now. I did like the August 21st work of 48-3 for the 6 horse for 4 furlongs. And I especially like Kendrick Camouche when he's on forwardly placed horses. I think he's off all of his mounts today. So I did see in a couple places that Kendrick was off his mounts. So maybe I would flip the 2 horse in there. It's a real tight call for me. And like I said, I really do prefer Kendrick on horses that can get up and get out and go. Race 4 is 1 mile on the inner turf. At 1 mile on the inner turf so far, Charles, they have put out 31 races, 18 of which, again, on the grass, were won from off the pace. 7 of the 31, so a third, not a third, a little less than a third, about a quarter, went wire to wire. Again, we see an inside 3 bias on the grass, 4 through 7 playing fair, and 8 and out getting the penalty. This was a race that was really, there was, I think perhaps maybe they were expecting some weather because there was a ton of MTO entries, which didn't really affect the change of the race. But if the MTOs had gotten, and you see all of them scratched out of here, the one thing that you do find in this spot, I think, is that we really don't have a ton of forward placed speed in here. Surprisingly, we mentioned that you do see a little bit off of the pace there. The 5 horse being one in here that's getting squared off. It does have a plus early pace advantage at the 2 furlong marker. 5 points better than any other horse, meaning it should be maybe a length ahead at the quarter-mile marker, at least on the lead. But it looks like it'll extend that lead as it gets to the half-mile marker. And what's cool about this race, it looks to me like, Charles, is that first time on the show, race number 4, we're going to have a battle of best bets because you like the 4 and I like the 5. Tell everybody why I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know if you're exactly 100% wrong, but I do like the 4 in this race. Navison Sunrise. I think this horse is going to show a little bit more speed in this race. He could go to the lead or he could just sit right off of it, which is, like you just finished saying, the 5 horse Scottish Star should be on the lead most likely, but I think the 4 is going to pressure him and take over before that final turn there. That's how I see it running. I do believe that the 5 will hang on for second. I think it's got enough talent there to do that. The 3 horse, Brown always puts in I don't know how many horses per race. It seems like at Saratoga, 3 or 4 horses. But this is his second. This is one of his horses here. How do you pronounce that name?
We don't worry about the pronunciation. We just go with the numbers, Charles.
Yeah, the 3. How about that?
Yes, indeed.
And has some speed, distance right for him. Franco still rides it back. Had some time off, but And then my final pick in that race, due to some scratches in this race, moves up in my picks. Secret Time, solid trainer. Looks like it handled the distance and fits well with this group overall. Can compete.
All right. So for me, I like the 5 horse Scottish Star here for a whole host of reasons. As I mentioned, at the quarter mile marker, probably going to be on the lead. Could extend that lead at the half-mile marker. And what I found even more interesting, as I was going through the numbers, has the top leg pace numbers too. So you can't pass what you can't catch, in my opinion. Number 2, Baby Blythe is post positions. Not post positions. The past performances suggest she will improve sharply in the second start after a layoff. And then number 4, Nevisian Sunrise. Probably pronounced that all wrong, but has run at the distance 6 times, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third. Been off the sidelines for a little bit. Short break here, and the horse has some good workouts getting prepped for this return. And then number 3, Zayn El Arab. Man, I don't know. That's a $1 million horse. Started its career on dirt, and now has moved to the last 2 races on turf. Been close. 2 times out on the grass, a second and a third. So as Bob Dylan says, knocking on the door. Has some strong workouts too in between races. Those are our best bets for today, Charles. Somebody else who puts their best bets out for us, and we like to follow in baseball. You ever bet on baseball, Charles?
Yeah, I have a problem. I bet almost anything.
All right. Well, that's well, Gamblers Anonymous. I don't know, but anyway,
There we go.
Play of the day today, Charles, over at the. And I don't know if you've been keeping track of the Professor Sides, but he kicks some butt. So if you're going to bet and you're going to have a problem, you might as well turn that problem into a profit. And the Professor certainly has generated a profit. Today he's going to go with the Dodgers. He's going to lay a run and a half for minus 157. So they must really be playing somebody who's pretty awful. DeGrom is the best pitcher in baseball, but he thinks Tyler Anderson can keep the Dodgers in the game. So he's going to go with the Dodgers plus some 1.5 runs. Oh, they're going to get a run and a half. That's pretty interesting. The play of the day so far, Charles, 64 wins, 38 losses, 2 ties, up 21.76, so almost 22 units with a positive ROI of 17.5. So like I said, if you have a problem, might as well make it a profitable problem. You can do that. There's a link in the description below here on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While you're here, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on Facebook and on YouTube. Retweet us on Twitter. I don't know what you have to do on Instagram, but whatever you can do to help us out, spread the word. We would greatly appreciate it. Again, there's a link for the full show in the description here so you can see all of Professor Side's picks of the day. Speaking of which, Sean and I are going to come on with Jared starting on Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to make all of our NFL picks. That's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to working with Jared in that respect. Race number 5 as we move on to the card at Saratoga's 1 1/8 miles. That race is on the turf, on the dirt course. So far, they've done it 31 times. 25 of which were won by speed. So on the dirt, fast horses. On the grass, you want some slower horses that come from off the pace. 7 of the 31 went wire to wire. Get a little bit of a rail penalty here. 2 through 3 play fair. 4 through 7, a little bit of a penalty as well. But 8 and out, you get a big time bonus. So it looks like the outside horses have a little bit of an edge there. In race number 5, we did get a scratch, but we don't get an 8 horse today, so it doesn't really matter. The 1A did scratch out of this race. We find the 6 horse does have the pace as a horse that likes to be on the front today. The 5 horse, which is a pressure closer, so the type of horse that if the pace is too hot, can sit back. If the pace is too slow, can move forward. His early pace figures say without a whole lot of effort, 5 horse should be involved early. And then we see the 1 horse, the 7 horse, the 2 closers are the ones that do carry some of the most late punch in this field. Charles, take us through your selections for race number 5.
All right. My top pick is in this race, the number 6 horse, Road to Success. So I guess if you just bet him, we're going to win all day long, huh?
Like betting on the Professor, baby.
But the trainer, is great off the claim. He has speed. He has enough speed that he might even try to go wire to wire. I don't know. Like you said, speed usually on dirt wins, and so there he might take advantage of that. My number 4 pick is the second race, Willie Sutton. Once again, solid trainer, is good off of when he lays off a horse, for 45 days or more. That's pretty important when you look at some of these races. You got to see if they've been off for a long time. I do believe you got to know what trainer, how they do this, how they come back. but he could be part of the pace also. Then he could be sitting in the catbird seat, as they call it, when they run through the race. My third pick was the 1N1A. I kind of like the 1A a little bit better, but he's now scratched. So, the big gray, comes, he's doing well. He figures well on the dirt, class drop. You know, he's got some talent there. And my last pick, the 2, convertible freeze. Once again, a class dropper. Can close if he has to, or he can sit even closer to the pace than normal. He's shown both ways in his form. So that's what I like there in the 5th race.
So I like Willie Sutton. That wasn't that bank robber, right? Willie Sutton. I forget, and I forget his. He didn't have like one of those names. I think maybe is that Billy the Kid. I don't know. Anyway, this one is a claim and drop. 45% winner for trainer Robert Falcone Jr. And he did run the top last race speed figure. I think Willie Sutton is the one that said when they rob banks, why do you rob banks? I think he's the one who said that's because where the money is. Maybe that's where I remember.
That might have been him. I remember that saying though.
Number 6, road to success. Doesn't look like it on paper, but the road for success could be on the lead. Does like the distance as well. Charles ran it twice with a win and a second. And this one is coming off of a little bit of layoff. And if you look at the resume, the past performances, you see the horse does tend to pop when he gets a little bit of a break. Don't Be Late is, as I mentioned, a left arrow horse. Should challenge for the lead. If he has the lead in the stretch, would be very difficult to pass. That's something I like to look to at horses that when they do finally get to the front, can they hold it? And at what point do they get the courage to finish? So I found that Don't Be Late, when he is in the lead late, does like to hang on and close the show. Number 2, Convertible Breeze, much better late in its last race, so showed more interest in the late pace numbers. And its resume says this horse in the second race off the bench is highly likely to be better than it was in the first start after a little bit of a rest. Race 7, let's see, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So we're going to do race 6. We just did race 6, right?
No, we just did 5.
Oh, race 5. Okay, race number 6. Race 6, 1 mile on the inner turf. I'm trying to figure out where we are in terms of our early pick 4 there. 1 mile on the inner turf, 31 races, 18 of which came from horses that were not in the first 3 at the first call. 7 of the 31 took them from gate to wire. We see an inside 3 bias here. 4 through 7 play fair. You do get a penalty in race 6 if you wear an 8 or out. Again, our pace worksheet, we see this is an interesting race shape to me too here, Charles. You see the 9 horse did scratch out. You got the 11 scratched out of here. And then you see a lot of these horses in this maiden race here. Again, the down arrow indicating the horse dropping in class. You have some of them which have flat lines, meaning they're running at the same class that they ran it before. All of these also eligibles getting scratched out of here, the 6th first-time starter. But when I look at this, the thing I notice here is that a lot of these horses are horses that tend to be more towards the back and not really involved early. You don't know what you're going to get from a first-time starters, but you got the horses like the 1 and the 2 that have never been close. So these horses would have to really improve form to make an impression. So I think you got a good shot in this race, despite being one that tends to favor closers for a horse to get towards the front. 10 horse being a pressure horse whose early pace figure says likely to be on the lead. So maybe the 10 horse can steal this race in here. Charles, what do you say?
Well, I definitely think he can steal the race, but I still went with my number 1 pick, the 5 horse, Sal's Dream Girl. I like when they added the blinkers, the drop-in class. Pratt's back on her. So, and personally, I sometimes when I look at some of these claiming races, I also look at it because I was in the claiming game back in the day. Would it be a good claim? I would claim that horse if I had that cash. And I think this might even be a good claim. So I think the 5 is my top pick, but I definitely agree with you on the 10. 10 is my second pick. Class drop definitely has speed. Bond, he does great with these younger horses.
You think when he meets people, he says, "My name is Jay." He says, "My name is Bond." James
That's
Bond.
I think that's the on his barn. He has 007 or Bond or something like that. He has something to say something similar to that.
The name is
So I have
Bond.
a feeling he does.
Mm.
And then actually my third pick is one of the two horse like you just mentioned. Or you don't know what they're going to do. It's first time LASIK, so that should help.
Hmm.
Class drop. Last time out was no factor, but has worked pretty good since. So I think the LASIK might be the trick on the two. And then the four horse is my fourth pick. Class drop again. Does have a little speed. I just don't know if they can hang on, but they're going back to the route, so might be right there.
For me, I also like the 510 combination for the exact. The Sal's Dream Girl, as you mentioned, it is a maiden special weight dropper. Flavian Pratt did ride this horse 2 races back. Took a break, gets back on. When Flavian rode it, was the closest the horse came to winning, second by a length. Number 10, Sereta. As we said, this horse does have some opportunity to get to the lead in here. Did run some better fractions last out. Tried this level 2 races ago. Had the lead in the stretch, so maybe today can close the show. Number 12, Treat Street. Left arrow horse. Should be close to the lead and has some of the most late pop in this field, so you can run up front and then close it with some afterburners in the stretch. Finally, number 4, Eau Claire, maiden special weight dropper for trainer Arnold Delacour, which is a 41% angled for him on that Tom Carley maiden special weight to maiden. That's a big number, 41%. I think you'd agree with me on that, Charles.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge number.
And then Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You're going to be heading off to Wisconsin tomorrow, right? Your son is in the.
That's right.
Your son is in the. Not in the horse racing business, but in the car racing business. How cool
Yeah,
is that?
the dune buggies, the dirt buggies, sidecars type of thing racing. He's in charge of a couple of cars, so yeah.
Sounds like you're going to have a fun weekend to me, but probably filled with headphones, right? Noise reducing headphones.
Yeah, maybe so, but I think the weather's gonna be perfect up there.
Yeah, well, it's really nice here in Chicago, and you're going to be just a little bit north of us. What was really nice too last night, Karen Whittick. I don't know if you had a chance to check out that interview last night, Charles, but I have to say, there's a lot of conversation about whether people care or not care about the horses. I think if you watch the interview with Sean and Jamie and Karen, you're going to find that this trainer absolutely, unquestionably, she told a story about how they got tipped off that a horse was going to get claimed. They went in and had a friend claim it because they went through all the testing and they couldn't scratch the horse, so it had to run. Friend went in and claimed it. They bought it back. They bought it back too early. They had to pay the penalties because they were worried about what might happen to the horse if it got claimed. So I know you were a trainer, Charles. I'm sure you cared about the horses too, but is that pretty common? Like you heard that someone's going to claim a horse and you're worried about the welfare of the horse, so you go ahead and make some plans with friends?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's common. I was never in that position personally, but I have heard of that. There is some people you do not want to pick up your horse or buy the horse. Yeah, there's a handful of bad seeds out there, just like in any sport. The handful always ruins it for the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's so many great trainers out there, great owners out there. We just got to weed out these bad ones that keep on trying to take advantage of the system itself.
Well, Karen is absolutely one that's easy to root for. Watch that show. I'm telling you, it's going to be one that you won't be able to turn off. She's very engaging. The stories are absolutely compelling. They started in the daylight and ended in the night. That's how much fun they were having together. Make sure you check that out. And she's going to have a horse running at Kentucky Downs soon. So I'm going to 100% be pulling for that horse, Karen. Good luck. The sport needs a lot more ambassadors like Karen. And then tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, Jamie and Sean will be back tonight with jockey Hugo Torres and his agent, Jordan Gatlin. If you have any questions for either one of them, want to learn about either one of them, or just tune in to see what Sean and Jamie have to say regarding the news, that'll be tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern at Horse Center, last night of the week. So make sure you tune in for that. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss it is to sign up While you're here, subscribe at YouTube. Follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Horse Race, the number 2, and then you will Horse Race 2 and then day. You'll absolutely get that done. So race number, we left off. This is our hot dog pick for Charles in race number 6. And you come right off the board with, I have to say, I really like the way you put together your pick 4s, both hot dog and the prime rib. Tell us a little bit about your thinking here. You're just trying to get into that 4th leg and hope that you catch a price?
Well, yeah, that's really what I'm trying to do there. I believe that the 6th race is, maybe not wide open, but it has opportunities that other horses could jump in and do some damage. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going for there. I try to figure out my best value, especially when you have a single. You most likely that horse is going to be favorite, the 4 and the 6. Maybe the 6, I don't know, might not be, but the 4 will definitely be a favorite. You got to try to cash out somewhere else on that, make up for it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to single the 5 in our battle of best bets. So one of our tickets lives and dies in our battle of the best bets. So hopefully, maybe they dead heat. That would be the ideal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that we'll catch that though, but we'll certainly pray for that one. Cross our fingers. Race 7 in the card is 5.5 furlongs on the turf. As we mentioned so far, they've run 57 races at that distance. A little bit more than half were won off the pace, 10 of which went wire to wire. 2 catch and inside, 3 bias, post 4 through 7 are fair. 8 is a major penalty. This race, if we look at race number 7 at our pace worksheet, we don't see any scratches in here, but what I do see in this race, Charles, is a lot of horses that probably are going to be forwardly placed. So you have the E and the EP types, meaning the 7 horse, it's only been able to win on the lead recently, so it needs the lead, but the box around it says that the pace figures do suggest that the 7 will be one that'll challenge for the front. These 3 right here can sit off the pace or get to the lead if they need to be, hence the EP numbers, for carrying the late pace advantage. And then over here, the 2 closers, the 3 and the 5. So maybe one of these 2 horses should catch it, maybe challenge for the win, but I think one of those 2 closers is likely to clean up the gimmicks. Charles, how do you see race 7 playing out?
Actually, just the way you kind of said it right there, I think. I do like the 4 because of the tactical speed he has. He can sit off and take over when he wants to. XY speed, great name. Class drop, a trainer switch. And like I said, it can stay close to the speed. The 6 horse definitely has the speed, or if not the second best speed of the race. 7 Cents, once again, class drop again on this, and he competes well probably at this level also. The 7 horse, not far now. The trainer has a 33% going from a sprint to a route to a sprint again. Another little angle you should look at. Definitely has the speed, probably most likely the speed of all. Might hang on for 3rd or 4th, a minor deal. And like you said, a closer. I like the 5 Spirit Animal as my closer. Does have enough speed to keep it a little closer instead of coming from out of the clouds, type of thing. So that's how I like it. 4, 6, 7, 5.
I like the 4 as well. XY speed. The 4 likes the distance. He ran that 15 times, took home the biggest check in 8 of those 15. Trio of seconds and a 3rd mixed in there as well. So really loves to win at these short sprints. Dropping from a non-graded stakes race, I like that as well. And in that drop, managed to run the top last race speed figure. That's really one of my favorite combinations. Is a horse that's dropping in class, coming off of the top speed number. Usually runs well fresh like today. And as I said, I just see a lot of pace in this race, and he owns the most late pace in the field. So if he can sit right off the lead, maybe 3rd tactical position, and then just run by him at the end. Number 7, Not Far Now, likely to be the pace setter with jockey Manny Franco. I love Manny on fast horses. I think he does a little bit better when he's towards the front, though. It does seem to me like just watching the Saratoga meet, he's getting much better coming off the pace. You team him up with trainer George Weaver. They've won a third of their starts, 6 out of 18. But what I really like is that when they team up, they have a positive ROI of $4.10. So bet a buck, get $4 back. Number 1 is Shiraz. One of the smartest people I've ever met in my life was named Shiraz. Dropping in class a little bit, did run some of his best fractions in his last race. And the inside post draw, I think, really helps. Finally, number 6, 7 cents. This one comes in from Ellis Park for Brad Cox. I think he's probably going to catch a lot of money because Brad does hit at 27% with Invaders. It's another one that's dropping from a $100,000 maiden non-graded stakes race and is likely to step forward in the second start after a layoff. So I think that one's going to catch a lot of money. I think that race is pretty competitive right there, race number 7.
Yeah.
Race 8 is 6 furlongs. It's a claiming $12,500 race. And so far at the meet, they have run 55 races at 6 furlongs on the main track. 50 of them were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call. So the race is probably going to be over, or at least you'll know who the winner is, likely after the 2 furlong marker. 22 of the 55 went wire to wire. So the one that's on the lead at the quarter mile at the first call is probably got a good shot to win this race. Post position, mostly fair. You do have a little bit of an edge if you wear a 4 through 7, and you see this as an opportunity for your best bet, Charles. You like the 2. Why is that?
2, my long shot. Well, if it's going to be a long shot, I like betting on horses considered long shots, 6 to 1 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Now horse. The horse definitely has the speed. He's moving up in class a little bit, but he still could take him wire to wire. And like you said, at the quarter pole, if he's got the lead, you might as well be chasing him a little bit harder, or he's gonna leave you in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm saying he's the Now horse with little odds. I like that type of chance.
Tom agrees with you in race number 8. He says, Baron Breeze, fast workouts in form. So Charles and Thomas on
there we are.
Page. Yes, indeed.
Long shot of the day.
Uh-huh.
My second pick in the race is the 6 horse, Double Shot. Who doesn't want a double shot?
I gave it up a long time ago, Charles. For me, I was the proverbial once too many, 100's not enough guy.
Oh, no. Okay. Not me. I'll keep going. I'll take it up for you.
Well, you'll take 200 then, huh?
Yeah, I'll take 200.
Alex, I'll take another one, Alex, for 200.
So the 6 horse, my second pick, drops in class. Trainer is 29%. First off the claim, which is a good number, very good number. And he should be coming late, but like you said, the horses on the front end usually are going to dominate in this race. My third pick is Durkin's Call, a closer again on this race. He doesn't have much more else to do except for come and closing. And my last pick is the 1, Somebody. Not just somebody. That's the name of the horse. Somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay. Somebody's got to be the 4th pick.
Somebody's got to be the 4th pick. Mm-hmm. Solid trainer, solid works. He looks like he's a hard knocker on this race.
So I forgot to do race number 8 in terms of our pace setup here. Again, we see, I think interesting shape here again. You have a bunch of closers. So you have a 7-horse field. 4 of them like to close. The 2-horse being one that can close or pressure. So usually in the back half of the field anyway, but does carry the late pace number 1 ability. So he does have a lot of late run. The 6-horse has got the second most late pace. The 4-horse here being a pressure horse, so usually doesn't get to the lead. But today, its pace figures say it's probably going to get in front of the 3. And those early horses that don't get the lead, a lot of times those horses do struggle if they don't get the lead. So maybe pressures for the lead and then fades in there. Tough to say. As for me, in race number 8, I like the 6-horse as my top selection. That is Double Shot. as Charles said, he's going to take my double shots for me. Dropping off the claim, which is a 39% winner. Again, a crazy number for trainer Jose D'Angelo. At the distance, the horse has fared well 10 times out, 3 wins, 3 seconds. So it's either going to win, come in second, or run off the board. Bay and Breeze, the 2-horse, did run the top last race speed figure. It is the selection of both Tom and Charles. Does have a bullet workout in between races, which I love to see. Owns the top last race speed figures in here as well. Did run better fractions at 6 furlongs than it did at 5.5 furlongs. I really love all of those combinations. So I think it'd be a really good race between the 6 and the 2. If not, somebody upgrades to Flavia and Pratt. That's the 1 horse. Could be better in the 3rd race off the bench. Maintenance work between races. And then finally, I have the 7 in here, Durkin's Call. Because of the scratches, did scratch into the spot. The horse has been okay at the distance, 9 times out, 4th, 3rd, so maybe finishes up the back end of the exacta or the trifecta. I don't know that they have predictors here, Thomas, but I would, if they have predictors, I will go get them and I will run them. We're going to go forward to race number 9. Tom getting a little bit of ahead of us here in race number 9. So we do a 4 and Friday show. I don't know if you've ever seen Tom and I in Racing Post, which is where we show like the names of the horses and stuff. They have a predictor. They have an algorithm that actually does like a digital version. And I have to say, Tom, last week, I ran the table on all of our picks at Red Car and Goodwood. So I think we should do our picks every week at Goodwood because I've kicked nothing but rear end there and collected winner after winner after winner. So I outperformed the predictor. So this should be called the Richter from this point forward. Race number 9 on the Saratoga card is a stakes race. This one is the With Anticipation Stakes. It is a grade 3 for $175,000. So they're running for some big money in this race. Some scratches, in fact, maybe the outcome. They've run 34 of these races, 24 of which were won from off the pace, 5 of which went wire to wire. You get a 4 through 7 is a bonus. All others seem to have a little bit of a penalty. Let's real quick take a look at what the pace setup looks like on this race. Again, this is a pretty interesting, there's a bunch of 2-year-olds in here, so you're not really quite sure what they're going to do. The 4-horse was one in here that could have challenged for the lead, not going to be in the race, scratched out. That means the 5-horse, the only one that showed any speed so far, does have a plus early pace edge as well. You have the 6, the 7, and the 8. So the 8 had the most late advantage in the field, gone. The 7 gone, so the lucky number gone. The 6, my hat, not in the race. So that leaves just about everybody else chasing the 5 in here. I think this is a race that could set up very well for this 5-horse in here because he's going to be on the lead, probably gets to run fractions that he's going to like, and quite frankly reminds me a little bit of the last race yesterday at Colonial Downs where a scratch just completely changed, I think, the outcome of the race. This is your box it up. Your first crack, Charles, at putting together 4 horses in an exacta box, trifecta box, superfecta box. Why did you pick this race?
Well, because I do believe that you're going to have value no matter what horse you really choose. I don't think there's going to be an even money favorite in this race, basically. So when I box it, I'm getting value on my 4 horses no matter what. They're going to be 3, 4, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 8 to 1. And that should do some nice payoffs when it comes to exactas and tries and even supers.
So tell us why you like these 4.
Oh, the 1 horse, my top pick, Battle of Normandy. I think that's, in my opinion, is the best horse in the race. Off of first only ran 1 time, but just ran a heck of a race. Came from behind. Yes, you are correct. If there's lone speed, I usually like lone speed. I'm not sold that the 5 will hang on enough for this race, but when they're all by themselves and taking a nap on the front end, somehow they get very brave. But I still like the 1 as my top choice. The 9 horse, my second choice, Our Dream Ride, definitely closes very well. And it will be right there. I think that horse might even sit a little bit closer to the pace. And then due to the scratches, my 10 is my third pick. Uh, it's another closer, class drop. Well, not really a class drop, but has done very well in case he's the trainer. He definitely knows what he's doing there. And of course, he has the other horse, the 11. And it's the same thing again, another closer, like you said, pretty much all closers in this race. So someone's going to have to go up there and be brave with the 5. And hopefully he doesn't take a nap on the front end.
Well, I'm hoping he does take a nap on the front end because the 5 horse is my long shot of the day. It wasn't going to be my long shot of the day until the scratches came out. I won the debut race going wire to wire. It runs the same race here, and it has a plus early pace edge versus the rest. Got gelded. So, I mean, that horse has got to think to myself, I won and I got gelded. If I don't win, what are they going to cut off next? My leg?
He was a bad boy in the gate, though. That's why he got gelded.
Yeah. But I think the race shape changes entirely with the 4 horse not in this race. Our dream ride, top last race, speed figure closer with the strong mid move last time out. I love to see horses that show more interest through the turn. Number 1, Battle of Normandy, your top selection. 1 is debut, 2 good maintenance workouts since that race. And finally, the 3 or the 11 was a tough call for me, but I went ahead with the 3 horse in here. Noble Huntsman. This one, a step forward in career start, number 2. It's going to stretch out for the first time. I like that a lot in terms of my handicapping. If I see a horse that's, because you don't know what you're going to get, right? So I know you're going to get value with the 3 horse. And if he does like the distance, and I think based upon his first 2 races, I think he's one that's likely to benefit and really enjoy getting some additional distance today. The last race on the card, the nightcap, is race number 10, 6.5 furlongs. It is a maiden claiming $25,000 for a purse of 42 grand. So not a bad money in this race. Race number 10, we do get some scratches in here that might have impacted the race. I don't know very much. The 1 horse scratched out, the 9 horse scratched out. You can see the arrows once again indicating that the 5, the 8, the 3, the 10 are dropping in class. We do catch a first-time starter in the 7. The 4 horse, as you see here, is denoted with an NC. That horse has never been close, so I'm just going to even eliminate that one from consideration. If it beats me, it's horse racing. It beats me, maybe I'll go back to drinking then. If it beats me, you have the...
We got some double shots for you.
Yes, indeed. The 5 and the 8, both left arrow horses, like the pressure, but most likely I think these are the 2 that are going to take charge out of the gate, so it should be interesting to see what happens. To show, Charles.
Well, I'm going to close it with my top pick in this race, the 8 horse, Beach Boy Owl. Class drop. Trainer is at 20% a second time out. Good speed, decent speed, I should say. And it might just steal this race because it's overall it's a very weak maiden race. Decent work since last time out. Then my second pick is a first timer. I'm going with a first timer.
You and Thomas are on the same page again today. Tom says take the 7 Cumberland Blues, first time starter. Excellent workouts, bad field. Take the first third. So you guys
He's right, 100% on that. Bad field. I even have that. Excellent workouts. The breeding says that he should have speed. So sometimes that is not always true, but it says it. Then my third pick is the 10, another first timer, a brown first time gelding. Excuse me, I'm sorry, first time gelding. Drops in class, and Brown keeps Franco on. It's been a little while since the horse ran, so. And then I'll take one of the speed horses, the 5, as my final pick. Sinful Dancer drops in class, and the trainer is 20%. From a maiden to a maiden claiming, which is a good move. Weaver, a very good trainer. So, and of course, his other horse is my top pick, Beach Boy Off.
Yeah, Yes, indeed. So that's my box it up in here today for the last leg. I'm going to go with the 8 Beach Boy Al as my top selection. Left arrow horse, maiden special weight dropper. As you mentioned, George Weaver hits at 21% when making that maiden special weight to maiden claiming move. 16 furlongs of workout since that last race. So I have any question that Beach Boy Al is going to be fit, firm, and ready to run. Sinful dancer. I once had a girlfriend whose license plate was sinful, and boy, she was. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's another left arrow horse in here. Weaver, again, with the maiden special weight dropper, considerably better at the 2 and 4 furlong pace numbers in the last race. Again, Craig Milikowski from Timeform US mentioned that's one of the things he looked for when horses improve early, usually a sign a horse that's getting in shape. Devil Boy, the 3 horse, is a maiden special weight dropper for trainer Jeremiah Engelhart, who those folks just, I think, actually own Finger Lakes, right? But this one wins.
They think so.
Yeah, I mean, every horse is trained by Engelhart, it seems like, when you go through the PPs at Finger Lakes. But anyway, Jeremiah wins at 30% in the maiden claiming ranks, which is a big number, and he runs a lot of them in there. It's not like it's 3 of 10. It's like 60 of 200, so it's a big number in there. Bullet Workout and Resume says will be much better in round 2 off the barn. Finally, number 2, Captain Remington has a plus late pace advantage. It's almost a plus, meaning in the stretch, if he's close, will be able to make up as much as 2 lengths, perhaps. At Saratoga, out 2 times with a second and a third. So clearly a horse for the course. And hopefully you guys are both wrong on that 7 horse, because I don't have it in my box it up, and I don't have it in my prime rib pick 4. And once again, Charles, I'm really, I think right now, Terry, wherever he's watching, is jealous as hell, because you're going to single that 4 horse in race 7. You're going to go all. So you're buying races number 8. You're buying race number 10. And you have 5 horses in race number 9 and somehow manage to spend $100. So if that 4 horse gets through for Charles in race number 7, Charles is going to be licking his chops for the end of the card there.
Yeah, just hoping and praying for a nice long shot in there.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm going to go 4 by 3 by 4 by 4. I feel like I've got good coverage as well in there. So that is our late prime rib pick 4 for Charles and I. Once again, taking a look at our full picks at Saratoga. They look like this. We have, in our first day together, Charles, a battle of the best bets in race number 4. You have the 4. I have the 5. We can put together a double in race number 8 with your long shot with the 2, my long shot in race number 9 with the 5. You're going to box yours up in race number 9. I'm going to box mine up in race number 10. So again, this is what our box it ups look like. As far as the hot dog pick 4 in race number 4, again, Charles with some very strategic ticket structuring today at for his pick 4 is going heavy in the first leg, single, and then hoping for bombs away in race number 6. I got a single 2 in race number 5 in our battle of the best bets. Prime rib 4, pick 4s again. Charles just crossing his fingers to get through race 7 and then licking his chops for 8, 9, and 10 if he gets through, for sure. And then our Tom in here makes a point that tomorrow is the opening day at Kentucky Downs. Great segue for me, Thomas. Tom will be joining me tomorrow. A little bit of changing up. We're going to put in a, what do they call it? What the hell is it called when someone comes off the bench to bat for you? I don't remember.
Pinch hitter.
Pinch hitter, yes. We're going to pinch hit tomorrow. And normally we do Del Mar, but Tom's going to join me since there aren't Foreign Fridays. The closest thing we have to a Foreign Friday in the U.S. is Kentucky Downs. So Tom and I tomorrow will tackle Kentucky Downs while Charles is off watching the races. Make sure you tune in for that at 12 o'clock tomorrow. And as Tom said, it's the only European track in the United States. And if today you're in Turkey or in the United States, because I'm aware of our friends in Turkey, love themselves some Delaware Park on Wednesdays. So it is the free track over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Please use that link so they know where you're coming from. And you will see whether you're betting in Turkey or in the United States or wherever you are in the world. The 5-horse Swift Lead Devil is the first pick for Jeremy Rose, who will be a guest on Horse Center before too long again. So he was a great guest last time he was on there. All right, Charles, I think I didn't miss anything today. Any final thoughts, pearls of wisdom from you before you check out on your debut?
Not really. But tomorrow I'll have fun with Kentucky Downs because that's one of my favorite tracks to handicap. Because, like he said, it's like the only European style race course in America, and you always get some bombs in there. You get a lot of nice prices for exactas, tries. That's where I always say that's where I make my money. Other than the Breeders' Cup, that's where I also make my money.
All right, so we're going to be hoping to make some money there tomorrow, but we're going to be hoping to make some money today in our last show for Saratoga. Charles, thanks for joining me. No matter what you're doing today, no matter what you're doing tomorrow, no matter what you're doing tonight, please make the most of every second today. And we hope that your day, Charles, do you know how to end the show?
Ends in the winner's circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic hump day. And thanks for joining us, Charles. Look forward to working with you next week. It was great first show together. Have a fantastic Wednesday.
All right, you too. Thanks.